Coimbatore has also a very strong MSME culture, isn't it? So what are the reasons for that?
As you have just said that you are Chola cultural sites enthusiast. Huh? What does it mean?
Okay, why it is called Indira Point? Do you think that we should change the name?
Can you tell me why the Cholas were known as Imperial Cholas?
These Cholas do that they revived to such a great scale, starting from Parantaka.
Please excuse me.
Yes, come in.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
Yes. I'm Reshma Nivetha R. I come from the district of Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu. I've done my schooling and graduation from the same place itself. I've completed my graduation and bachelor's of civil engineering. And after that, I've been preparing for the civil services. In my leisure time, I would like to sketch landscapes and I would like to bake entremet cakes. And I would also like to visit Chola cultural heritage sites.
Okay, Reshma, you are basically a civil engineer.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you opt for civil engineering as a subject instead to have chosen geography as a subject?
Sir, geography had some overlap with civil engineering, and it was also something which is visually where I can visually more understand the concepts in geography. And I also felt that within a short span of time I could cover the syllabus as well. So I chose geography as an optional, sir.
Okay. There's a famous book, Revenge of Geography, authored by the bestseller Dr. Robert D. Kaplan.
Okay, sir.
Any idea about this book?
Sorry, sir, I have not heard of it.
Absolutely no idea about it. Let's forget about this then. You are from Coimbatore.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? And you have opted for geography. Now tell me about Coimbatore. Despite its proximity or proxy to the Western Ghats,
yes, sir.
The city still faces water stress.
Yes, sir.
What is the problem? Is it governance failure or it's because of consequence of an unchecked urbanization?
Sir, both the factors which you have said play a key role. We have water resources, but the water resources are polluted by industries. For example, the Noyal River there, that is polluted from the industrial waste which come from Tirupur. So we are not able to use it more fruitfully. So what we have done is we are transferring the water from the Siruvani Dam, that is which receives a major part of the water from the Kerala rivers. So that is where we source most of our water from. So currently, I don't think there is any. We don't have any issue with access in water in Coimbatore region because of the Siruvani project and the Aliyar project. So these projects have come up in providing water resources currently, sir.
Okay, so rising from your discussion, then can Coimbatore emerge as a model city for climate resilient urban planning in semi-arid region like Coimbatore?
Yes, sir, we have planned it quietly well, I think, because of the dams and the reservoirs which are well planned in the region. We get resources from both the sides as well. We have also had close contact with our neighboring state of Kerala, where we have a cordial relation and we are receiving water from their end also. So I believe it's a very good model to be replicated because there is a close coordination between the states as well.
Wonderful. Talking about the MSMEs, Coimbatore has also a very strong MSME culture,
yes, sir.
Isn't it? So what are the reasons for that? And again, same question, do you think it can be replicated to others in other states?
Yes, sir. Sir, Coimbatore, the MSME, as you said, it's known for its MSME clusters. So the clusters there, they have grown from the entrepreneurial spirit which has been there from a very young age itself among the people there. So basically the entrepreneurial families, they led to the growth of the industries and slowly the industries started accumulating in the region. Also there is, we have the academic prospects in the region as well. We have many colleges there, especially the technical colleges. We also had the first, there was also the first polytechnic college in India in Coimbatore. So I think all these factors played up well in providing the labor resources as well, which led to the growth of these industries. And speaking of whether it can be replicated, yes sir, MSMEs are the backbone. So I think it's a model which can be replicated as well, giving the impetus to the industries and boosting up the entrepreneurial spirits, which begins in the college stage itself. So I think this could be a model which can also be replicated.
Last question from my side.
Yes, sir.
Again, discussing the Coimbatore only. Coimbatore is or was known as Manchester of the South,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? Now, what is your opinion? Has the city diversified beyond textile industry, or is still dependent on traditional systems?
It was once known as the Manchester. Currently, the cotton growth in the region is reduced, and we are dependent on the imports from other countries now. So I don't think calling it a Manchester is a right word for this moment. We have also expanded for other sectors, as you said earlier, the MSME sector, where Coimbatore specializes in pump industry and also wet grinder industry. So we have got GI tags in these sectors. So we are expanding our scope. There are also defense corridors which are being placed in Coimbatore. So I think the city as a whole is exploring newer opportunities, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Reshma,
Yes, sir.
as you have just said that you are Chola cultural sites enthusiast.
Yes, sir.
What does it mean?
Sir, I enjoy visiting the Chola cultural heritage sites. I look for the sculptures there. I try to say what they wanted to say through those sculptures. I try to look at them instead of just going and praying at these temples.
Do you have any idea about Uttar Meru inscriptions? Significance
Yes,
of
sir.
Yes.
So that was that talks about the local government which existed during the Chola time period. That was based on the Kudavole system, where they put in names of people and a small child is told to come and pick one name out of it, and that person is chosen as the person who leads the particular sabha there, sir.
Okay. And what is the difference between Brahmde and Agrahar? Do you have any idea about Brahmdeya and Agrahar?
Sir, Agraharam is a place where Brahmins reside. The people, the Brahmins who work for the temples reside. Agraharam, that is what I know, sir. The other word I am not aware of it, sir.
Okay, no problem. And you just talked about sculpture.
Yes, sir.
What are the features of Nataraj sculpture? Features.
Sorry, sir, I'll have to read on that, sir.
You have not seen Nataraj?
Sir, I've explored the sculptures in the temple, sir, but specifically bronze sculptures, I have not looked into the features of these sculptures, sir.
Okay, no problem. So how this Nataraj sculpture is made?
Sir, it's made through a lost wax technique, where initially it's molded on wax, where it's initially molded as a wax sculpture, and then it's coated with sand or clay, and then it's fired, and then this wax is removed, and in that place we pour the metal and it becomes the bronze sculpture, sir.
Okay. Can you highlight features of any important Chol temple?
Yes,
For
sir.
example, Brideshwar temple.
Okay, sir. So the important features which I feel of the Bradeshwara temple is the vast architecture which it has provided. For example, the Vimana is tilted to 70 degrees. So the 70-degree Vimana tilt on a granite sculpture still stands today.
What is the difference between Vimana and Shikhar?
So Shikhar is something which is placed on the top of the Vimana. Vimana is the thing which is built over the Garbhagriha, the shape. So it's more like a pyramid in case of Bradeshwara temple. And also the Vimana is hollow from within. So how such a hollow structure is standing on granite is something which is fascinating in that place.
Any other feature? There are so many features of the style of architecture.
Yes, sir. There is also a moat around the temple. That is also a significance there. Apart from that, the Gopurams, specifically talking about the Bradeshwara temple, that is one place where the Vimana towers higher than the Gopurams itself. So that is another thing which is unique to the Bradeshwara temple.
What about the size of Shivling? Because it is known as Brideshwar. So,
okay, sir.
Have you visited that temple?
Yes, sir. I am not aware of the exact size of the linga, sir.
But is it quite big?
Yes, sir. It's quite big.
Temples?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem. Let us move to some other question.
Yes.
Since you have studied geography,
yes,
and you are well conversant with both Tamil Nadu as well as Kerala.
Yes.
Because your mother belongs to Kerala.
Yes, sir.
Can you define the silent features of Tamil Nadu coastline and with that of Kerala coastline? Compare the two.
So when it comes to the Tamil Nadu coastline, it's more prominent with rivers and the alluvial plains, deltas and the mangroves. When it comes to the Kerala coast, the rivers are shorter there, so the silt carrying capacity is lesser, which means there is not many alluvial fans which get deposited on the Kerala coast. Also, being on the proximity to the Western Ghats, Kerala coast has a lot of cliffs. So, for example, the Varkala Cliff, which is a famous tourist region, but when it comes to the Tamil Nadu region, we don't experience such things. Also, the corals which are present, the Tamil Nadu shores have a lot of coral deposits around its shores, whereas in Kerala, it's there, but it's on a lesser size compared to the Tamil Nadu coast, sir.
Okay. And when we compare the ports of both eastern and western coast,
Yes, sir.
which one is the largest and the busiest?
Sir, I couldn't come up with anything in Kerala, but in Tamil Nadu, I could remember the Chennai port and the Ennore port, as well as the Tuticorin port, sir.
So, can you highlight the volume of trade from any port?
Sorry, sir, I'll have to read on that, sir.
Okay, last question from my side, and that is related to Sangam.
Okay.
What is Sangam?
The Sangam is I could think of two things, sir. One Sangam is where the rivers congregate, so that is also called as Sangam.
Yeah.
The other Sangam is where the people gathered to discuss on issues. There are 3 Tamil Sangams, which has been said it existed in history, sir. Yes, sir.
Any idea about that? Because you are a Chol enthusiast.
Sir, in the Sangam literature, it's said it's said about 3 Mu-Vendargal, which means the Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas,
Yeah,
and it's been highlighted in their histories have been highlighted in the Sangam literatures.
Just 2 epics. Name 2 epics of Sangam period.
Silapadigaram and Manimegali, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Reshma,
Yes,
which is the northernmost point of India?
Sorry,
Do
sir.
we have any specific name of that point?
Sorry, sir, I couldn't recall it now, sir.
And southernmost point of India?
Indira Point, sir.
Okay, why it is called Indira Point? So do you think that we should change the name?
Sir, I don't think there is any specific necessity to change it at the moment, sir. We don't have any issues surrounding it, so I don't think there is a need to change it now, sir.
Okay. Incidentally, the northern point is also called Indira Coal.
Okay, sir. Yes.
Why we should identify geographical phenomenon with any person?
Sir, maybe the person has contributed to the Indian growth in some way. So I think using their name specifies that they are important for India and they are a part of the Indian history, sir.
Okay. If we look at weather conditions of any geographical location,
Yes, sir.
apart from geographical coordinates, which are the other determinants?
So the weather of the region, sir.
And the weather of anything, like say weather of Coimbatore, depends
Yes, sir.
upon the geographical coordinates, where is that located. Apart from that, which other determinants are there?
So apart from that, it's the satellite location which can be used, but apart from that, I'm not.
How, whether it is a hot place or cold place, depends upon how far it is from the equator.
Yes, sir.
But apart from that, which other things are meaningful there?
So which influences the climate of a region, sir? The distance from the coastline also influences. Also the mountains, if they are present there, they also alter the climate specifically. And the water resources nearby, they also have a minute factor in determining the climate of the region, sir.
Okay. Why Bangalore is not as hot as it should be? Because it is not very far from equator.
Sir, there is a factor of Western Ghats which plays there. It's on the leeward side of the Western Ghats. So it is almost on the interior of the continent, sir. So interior of the land area. So I don't think there is not much of sunlight which can hamper into the area, sir.
Okay. Most of the developed countries, whether it is USA or Britain, France, Germany, even China and Japan,
Okay, sir.
are located far from the equator,
Yes, sir.
much higher towards north than India. So do you think that closeness to polar region is also incidentally one of the regions of development?
Yes, sir. Looking in that aspect, I think that region is currently well developed because of the resources which they had. Initially, as per the plate tectonic theory goes, they were to the south, so there were more of forest, and now they have moved towards the north. That means more coal accumulation and energy resources have accumulated in the regions.
I mean to say another way, that people who are living in very rough weather conditions or
Yes,
climatic
sir.
conditions become more hardy
Yes.
due to the environmental conditioning. And people who are living in a very pleasant climatic condition
Yes,
become
sir.
more relaxed people, not a little bit determinist people also, because everything is available. For example, in India, so many natural resources are easily available that people don't have to strive for their day-to-day existence. But the Russians have to, the Chinese have to, the British and Americans have to do that.
Yes, sir.
So, considering the human resource geography, the different models of development from that perspective.
Yeah, so being on that space, I think, as you said, one theory, which is the Mackintosh theory and the heartland theory, which says that since they are on the heartland, they don't have any issues with the surrounding regions. They also have access to many resources and the people are well equipped. That means they have the access to resources and they can use the resources very fruitfully without fighting with others. So that makes them not prone to disputes, sir. So I think they are well developed in that space. For example, America, which is segregated from the other population, so they don't have to fight for their borders or anything. So that space they are they are safe from. So that is the one thing, sir.
Okay. So as you mentioned, heartland.
Yes.
There was another scholar who talked about growth center versus hinterland.
Yes, sir.
So what's the difference between this heartland and hinterland?
Sir, heartland theory, it mostly talks about continental scale issues, sir. For example, on Russia, so that's the heartland, which has its own resources and it's protected. But when it comes to the other theory, as you told, the growth pole.
Growth center versus hinterland.
So growth center. So growth center, when it comes, it means the area which has accumulated all the resources where people come in. For example, a space like Delhi, where people migrate, where opportunities come in, where industries cluster. So that is called as a growth pole. Hinterland is an area which the growth spreads towards. After some time, the growth has to spread outwards. For example, the satellite town. So when they spread outwards, those areas are called as the hinterland, sir.
Okay, so you have also studied about urbanization models.
Yes, sir.
Indian urban centers are not well managed, as you know, heavily crowded, polluted.
Yes, sir.
Lots of clashes are erupting among individuals for the fight for a space on the road or at a residential area.
Yes, sir.
So which urbanization model do you feel is adapt or apt for Indian conditions?
So with the current the increasing population density and the limited land resources which we have, I think vertical model of development which is there in the United States region, so that could be explored in some regions. For example, the densely packed cities, metro cities like Chennai or Bangalore, vertical development can be explored, sir.
And what are the health implications of vertical growth of centers?
So when vertical buildings raise, it means that the urban heat island effect sets in place. So the pollutants which we release as it comes along with the population density, they don't get dispersed across. So that means our health is also getting affected because of this. As vertical buildings raise, we have to use indoor air circulation systems as well. So that also adds up to our disease burden, sir.
Most of the urbanites in India are having acute deficiency of vitamin D.
Yes, sir.
Why this is so?
So currently, most of the population is not exposed to the sunlight. So that is one factor. We get glued to our screens or monitors. That can be one factor which is raising. This is specifically prominent in city life.
So do you believe that any of the urbanization model has taken into consideration the health implications?
Sorry, sir. I'll have to read on that, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi.
Good morning.
So you recently, I'm sure you would have read about India-US trade deal. We have not signed it, but we've announced it,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So there's a farmer protest which happened on the 12th of Feb. Can you tell me why are the farmers protesting?
I'm not specifically aware that they've protested, but one reason could be that there were issues which were raised that we are providing duty-free imports for US goods into India, which affects the competency of Indian farmers. So I think that could be the issue there, ma'am.
Which goods particularly, if you could mention?
One which I could recall is the pulses. That's what I could recall now, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. You are interested into baking, right? And there's something called
Entremet cakes.
Okay. So what is the origin of this particular kind of cake?
Ma'am, this is basically a cake which is assembled from different cakes. So the inspiration comes from making every cake into a single piece of cake. So that's an entremet cake. So it grew up in the French industry, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So I'm sure you are interested in Chola cultural heritage site, right? So can you tell me why the Cholas were known as Imperial Cholas?
Ma'am, they were known as imperialistic because they expanded their territories across the Bay of Bengal. They went up until the Southeast Asian countries, but they have not established the foothold unlike the Britishers. They didn't settle there. They just went there. They want to showcase their power. They wanted to explore the trade relations and then they came back. So that is why they're called as imperialistic, ma'am.
Okay. You mentioned Silapadikaram, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me who established this Patani cult, which was based on Kannagi?
The author, ma'am?
No, there was a ruler who established the Patni cult for the worship of Kannagi because she was worshipped as an ideal wife.
Sorry, ma'am, I'm unable to recall the name of the person.
Okay, no problem. Tell me something about the Nagaswami temple. You visited the temple?
Sorry, ma'am, I'm not visited the temple.
Okay. Can you tell me something about the Gangaikonda Cholpur temple? Cholpura?
Yes, ma'am. It is built by Rajendra Chola. So this is seen more of a replica as the Brihadishwara temple, but on a shorter scale. But on looking at the ground plan, we see that it is a much larger picture. It is wider than the Brihadishwara temple, but what are the reasons for making the temple shorter is yet to be known. Currently, we also celebrated the 1,000 years of congregation of the temple. It is known as Gangaikonda Cholapuram because it is said that Rajendra Chola went up to the Ganga region to take the water to purify his own capital. So that is why it's called as a Gangaikonda Cholapuram.
Okay, all right. So India announced their trade deal, okay, and there was a lot of speculation regarding us receiving a lot of benefits in the textile center, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, Bangladesh also announced a trade deal with USA.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So who do you think is getting a better deal? Us or them as far as textiles are concerned?
Ma'am, I think our textile industry is bigger than the Bangladeshi textile industry. So I think...
Are you sure? Our
Yes.
exports are not.
Ma'am, but on the scale of manufacturing, I think it's our center which is better performing and better equipped with. So I think we can benefit from it better than Bangladesh, ma'am.
They're getting a zero tariff. We're getting 18% tariff.
Ma'am, I think we are also yet to get a 0% tariff on reciprocal imports of cotton from the US, ma'am.
But isn't that going to harm the farmers? Because we grow cotton, good enough cotton. The
Ma'am.
entire Deccan is cotton.
Yes, ma'am, but our cotton industry is currently facing a slump and we don't have the exact amount of cotton to cater to the industrial needs. So I think the import can balance there. So I think it plays a good picture there, ma'am.
Okay, my last question. Can you tell me the importance of 14th Feb for you?
Sorry, ma'am, nothing I can come up with.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, Reshma.
Hello, ma'am.
You were talking about the Imperial Cholas.
Yes, ma'am.
But this is a tag given to the Cholas of the medieval age.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
There was this same lineage was existing somewhere in the ancient period as well, in
Yes,
the period
ma'am.
of the Sangam. Correct? Now, what did these Cholas do that they revived to such a great scale, starting from Parantaka?
Yes, ma'am. So initially why they were not able to scale up is because they had infighting with the Cheras and Pandyas. Once they subsided them, I think they took up, the Cholas became a great power in the region. They also had access to resources from the northern part. They had the timber resources to build up their ships and everything. So I think that provided them the opportunity to explore the regions, ma'am.
Even during the medieval age, we were fighting with the Pallavas, right? There was constant tussle,
Yes, ma'am.
correct? Yes.
Ma'am, but that specific period, we didn't have much of exploration activities. That was during the Parantaka period. That was when we were fighting with the Pallavas. That period, we didn't have much of an exploration kind of a thing happening there. It was only during the Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola where we have subsided the Pandyas and the Pallavas. We have grown much of a powerful region there, ma'am.
Okay. Now, there is a culture of megaliths in the southern part of India,
Yes, ma'am.
especially Tamil Nadu. Now, do you think megalithic culture is somewhere reimposing caste system?
Ma'am, I'm not specifically read of the megalith culture, ma'am. So
You
I think,
haven't?
yes, ma'am. I think I have to read on that, ma'am.
Okay. Out of context, recently have you heard of any megaliths, any vidakkals being given to some Tamil echelons?
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay, not an issue. Now, you are a student of geography.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware of the geography of Kebul Lamjau?
Kebul Lamjau. Ma'am, sorry, ma'am. I'm unable to recall.
Have you read about it?
Yes, ma'am. It's in Manipur, but there's a Shanghai deer which I can recall. But other than that, I'm unable to recall anything else, ma'am.
Have you heard of Fumdis?
Yes, ma'am. The
What are
floating
Fumdis?
grasses.
Correct. Fumdis are
Floating grasses.
And Sangai is the kind of deer which is found there.
Yes, ma'am.
What is so special? Why is Sangai, what does the name Sangai mean?
Sorry, ma'am. I'm not aware
Not
of
an
it.
issue. Now, coming to my core question, you are a student of geography and you're aware that Kebul Lamjau has floating grass,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
the land is basically floating
Yes.
on a lake,
Yes, ma'am.
which is the Loktak Lake. Now, what kind of civil engineering structures can we design over there? Since you are a civil engineer as well,
Yes, ma'am.
we have a very good combo. So please tell us what kind of constructions would you pursue in that area?
Ma'am, first is using weightless materials so that they don't sink.
Do we have weightless materials?
Yes, ma'am, there are different kinds of wood which are weightless. Softwoods, they are weightless. So I think they can be used. Also, sometimes steel structures, they are also weightless in building structures. So wood. So
Does weight play a role in sinking?
yes, ma'am, I think they do play a role when.
Or
Yes,
volume?
ma'am.
Or density? Which one?
I think it's the weight of the structure, ma'am, because that acts as a load on the foundation. So I think that plays an important role there.
Okay. So you are talking about usage of materials.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
Apart from that, I'm not aware of anything
Not
else, ma'am.
able to recollect. Okay, are you aware of the Bangladesh elections?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened and what was wrong in that election process?
Ma'am, currently, as of the news today, which I've seen, it's the BNP party which has won there. But something, as you said, which is not right there is the Awami League, a party which was there for a very long time, has not been included in the elections. So that is one thing which I could see there, ma'am.
Okay, so correlating to that, my last question to you
Yes,
would
ma'am.
be, has India done something like that, barring a particular organization or branding them with unable to contest the elections?
Ma'am, when the organization goes against the national security threats, then I think India has done that in the past. I do think they have done that in the past with the CPI Maoist, yes,
Correct.
ma'am.
So, in that case, we don't think it's wrong, right?
Yes,
Bangladesh
ma'am.
elections.
But there should be the people, for example, the party has to be heard. So they have outstayed, they have not been given the right opportunities to speak for themselves, what went wrong and everything. So I think that's an issue there, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Reshma.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Reshma. It was nice talking to you. Your interview is over. You may go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Sit down, Reshma.
Yes.
When is your interview?
23rd of February, sir.
Okay. And which attempt is this?
First
Very first.
interview, sir, and attempt is the fourth.
This is your fourth attempt and first interview.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how was your experience with us today?
It was a very good experience, sir, but I was short of words. I lost words that I think it's because I've not spoken for a very long time now. Now I'm speaking, sir.
You're a good talker. You spoke well.
Okay,
You spoke candidly and confidently.
Yes, sir.
So these are good qualities in you. By and large, your interview has gone very well.
Okay,
I'm
sir.
quite satisfied with your overall performance.
Okay, sir.
There is always a scope for improvement, isn't it?
Okay, sir.
But one thing we liked about you, wherever you were not aware of the question, you did not venture to answer that question.
Okay, sir.
That reflects your honesty.
Okay.
So maintain your honesty when you go for the interview.
Yes, sir.
So that is very important because you are going to be a future civil servant
Yes, sir.
and you can't be making a compromise with your ethical values.
Okay.
So wherever you are not aware, candidly admit I am not aware.
Okay, sir.
Instead of venturing into an unknown territory.
Okay, sir.
Okay. That is one thing. Your communication skill is very good.
Okay,
no problem.
sir.
You could communicate your ideas freely. And your basically understanding of subjects also, grasp is good.
Okay, sir.
So intent of the question at one or two, barring a few occasions where you were not very, what should I say, not rigid is not the word, where you could not catch the basic concept.
Okay, sir.
So like growth center and all.
Yes, sir.
So there, try to listen to the question and try to
Okay.
understand intent of the question.
Okay, sir.
You have understood intent of the question, then try to give answer to that question.
Okay, sir.
Not that what you know,
Okay.
but what is the requirement of the question, that you must understand. Once you have understood that,
Okay.
then you will be in a much better position to explain. That is the only thing. Otherwise, your hand movement is a bit too much.
Okay, sir.
It's very normal to we Indians.
Yes, sir.
But then when you go for the interview, for the personality test, just ensure that there is little hand movement, as little as possible. If you could
Okay, sir.
control
But
it.
when
It
I
comes very
tend to
naturally, I can
yes, sir,
understand.
keep my hands together. I tend to fiddle my hands like this, so that's why.
Keep your hands like this only.
Okay.
Like this. That is the best posture. So
Okay.
try to cultivate that habit,
Yes, sir.
so that at times it becomes irritating,
Okay, sir.
hand movement. Otherwise, I understand hand movement, it gives you a lot of thought process also comes
Yes, sir.
through this. But then try to. Now, hair clip, what did you say about the hair clip?
Are you wearing this hair?
No, ma'am.
It was
I'll
very
have to.
glittery.
I have to tie it better, ma'am.
Yes,
I'm not
it's very
going to use a
glittery.
clip,
Don't
ma'am.
use- yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Reshma, you are a civil engineer, you have opted for geography coming from Coimbatore,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? A lot of questions will definitely be asked on the manufacturing sector vis-a-vis service sector, which due to paucity of time we could not ask you
Okay,
about the
sir.
different models and all that.
Okay.
Where India should lay more stress now in today's world.
Okay.
More on manufacturing, more on services. What is the state of services? What is the status of because your entire Tamil Nadu is considered to be manufacturing hub,
Yes,
isn't
sir.
it? So why it is known as a manufacturing hub? What are the problems in the industries there, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Then one area will be that. Second area we discussed about apparel industry, and in that context only cotton and all was discussed. So read more on that, because as far as the export is concerned, traditionally Bangladesh has been exporting more than
Okay,
us.
sir.
So that's number one exporter. So what all steps India should be taking to overtake Bangladesh?
Okay.
Now, in view of this tariff war and all that, keeping that in mind, some related questions may be there. Then growth of MSME centers, growth even your total industrial sector scenario is also very good in Tamil Nadu.
Yes, sir.
So which all models could be replicated in other parts of the country according to you? And the status of women, despite all that, the patriarchy remains
Yes,
in Tamil
sir.
Nadu. It has only shifted from homes to offices. That's the only thing which has happened there. Why is there? Literacy is high. Why, despite being literate and all that, why so many problems women are facing? And your views on women empowerment and how what government has been doing to empower women, and what changes you have noticed. And then you are from Tamil Nadu. Somebody may ask you questions. Tamil Nadu, compare North Indian city of Punjab with Tamil Nadu and all that.
Okay.
Regarding the status of women, what similarities, what dissimilarities can you notice and all.
Okay, sir.
That could be one area where questions may be asked. Then don't forget that you are a civil engineer, all said and done, apart from geography.
Yes, sir.
Geography itself has a lot many areas. Theory part, leave aside theory part, even the practical part in India. What is the role of this government agency, that government agency?
Okay,
So
sir.
those 3-4 major agencies are there. I will not name them due to lack of time, but try to know their roles. About the earthquakes, which agency monitors, how many
Okay.
seismic zones are there, a new zone is getting developed, what is the concept, who does the zoning and all that. So those general concepts, just to understand whether you have understood the basic concept.
Okay.
And then monsoon, what do you mean by retreating monsoon? Why does it affect the southern states and all that? Very
Okay.
general questions, apart from very theoretical questions.
Okay.
General questions may be asked. Then you are civil engineer, don't forget.
Yes, sir.
Civil engineering questions, some questions, what shape it will come, green buildings, newer your bridge technologies are also undergoing a change. What are the new technologies? What are the types of bridges? Then when you go for survey technologies are also, a lot of new technologies are emerging in the area of survey also. New materials are getting invented in the construction of highways, expressways, and the construction of buildings. Should at least be knowing 3, 4, 5 names of 3, 4, 5 materials which are being used extensively, and what are their benefits.
Okay.
These are the general guidelines. You may get some questions out of this.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, have confidence in yourself. Be honest in all your statements. Honesty of purpose is very important.
Okay, sir.
And don't ever compromise with your honesty.
Yeah, okay,
Try
sir.
to give very neutral opinion whenever opinion-based question is asked, bringing out pros and cons of alternatives before you take a view,
Okay,
particular
sir.
view. So that to understand that you have a grasp over the subject.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, very good candidate. I don't think you will be getting less marks in the personality test. You will be getting very good encouraging marks. It all depends on how you have performed in your mains examination.
Yes, sir.
But let me assure you, your personality test will not let you down.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All the best from our side. If you
Thank
have any
you, sir.
questions to ask, feel free to ask.
Sir, on the Bangladesh issue, I was not able to comprehend it properly. Can you please explain
The
it, sir?
Bangladesh issue, you can go on and on because
Yes,
there is
sir.
a historical perspective also
Yes,
of
sir.
Bangladesh. If you had started, what was question was very clear.
Based on the elections and what
Based on
went
the
wrong.
elections. So based on the elections, what went wrong? And you said something which was also correct.
Okay,
There
sir.
are 3-4 more reasons are there.
Okay,
But
okay.
that is not important that you should look very academic in all your answers.
Okay.
But whatever you know, if you have honestly you have answered, it's
Okay,
okay.
sir.
Even if you said, I am not aware, you would have appreciated it.
Okay, sir.
Honesty is very important.
Okay.
Okay. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.